I don't see the Chinese government using the currency as a tool to defend itself in this round. My suspicion is that their thinking is it's not a sustainable tool to use, and they wanted to decouple from the U.S. to a certain extent as well, anyway. If you look at the rhetoric from the two sessions earlier this year, the focus is clearly on consumption, domestic demand, not on exports and not on manufacturing. China, as a strategic goal, they want to move away from that as much as possible to deal with situations like this we're having today. So I think, the more likely policy is a stimulus, a bigger stimulus, whether it's fiscal or monetary, and focus on the domestic demand. China has already talked about that before. We have several policies, including the government subsidies for the trading programs for electronics and for home appliances that will continue. And there might be other policy to support real estate, which is also consumption related, and other direct consumption measures. I think this is probably the most effective and the most likely measure in the current environment.
So with the expectations of some policy support, how would this be reflected or reacted in the market? How would you trade that?
Yeah, it's also very hard to say the short-term timing questions. Like I said, the market's probably not paying attention to whatever's going on with the policy. In fact, prior to this round of tariffs, Chinese economy were actually improving. We have DeepSeek as a potential driver for both productivity and company efficiencies in China. So things were looking good before this, and now the market suddenly forget about it, focus on the tariff. We can't say the market is wrong. Like I said, the market is worried that there will be more tariffs on the U.S. and China, and this thing will escalate. Once that thing blow over, and then people can focus on the economic impact, that's the medium-term question. That will also depend on the earlier question asked, how would this trade play out between U.S. and China? What is the balance for the tariff, et cetera? And don't forget, the company is not just going to sit there and let this happen. Both U.S. and Chinese company will respond at some point. Not right now because the dust has not settled. Once the dust settles, I think they will figure out a way to navigate this. And that's why the upcoming earnings season in the U.S. is very important for us to watch what companies will be saying about this and what they plan to do with it.